I didn't play Smash competitively until the later half of Smash 4's life, so Ultimate was the first Smash game that I've played competitively since the game's launch. That means I got to see the tournament stage list go from being over 3 times the size of Melee's to like, I am not reading that number. Most stages got banned almost immediately because of obvious glaring issues, and a couple others took literal years to get banned due to their worst crime simply being that they have slants. But in between those extremes remains well actually 3, but for the sake of this vid, one stage that was legal for a pretty solid amount of time, but never made it past 2019. I'm Drewski Rose, and this is the story of Unova Pokémon League. Unova was a stage introduced in Smash for 3DS based off the 5th generation Pokemon games, aka the best generation. The stage was fun, but the intrusive stage hazards made it obviously not fit for competition. Even for Smash 3DS's standards, where stuff like Prism Tower and Arena Ferox are legal. No, I'm not kidding. But now with Ultimate's hazard toggle, the stage seemed to be perfect for tournaments. Unova is what we call a dual plat, which is a stage with 2 platforms on it. Smash had never had a legal stage like that, at least not ones that didn't transform, until base Ultimate gave us 3 options, with the other 2 being Pokemon Stadium 1 and Pokemon Stadium 2. With how similar the 2 stadiums are to each other, it's hard to justify using both for tournaments. It's either one or the other, with Stadium 2 being decided as the favorite. Unova, on the other hand, is actually pretty distinct from those 2. The platforms are much closer to the ledge, along with being higher up. There's walls present, making wall jumps easier, and the overall stage is medium size as opposed to the stadiums being large stages. So there's not much issue with running both Unova and one of the stadiums on the same stage list. Though as time went on, people started taking issue with Unova being ran at all. During the first half of 2019, the stage was legal at some majors and banned at others. It was kind of a 50-50. But in the later half of the year, it was nowhere to be seen at majors, and at most only ever showed up at locals. So what happened? It's all your fault. There are slants at the bottom of the stage's walls, and if some characters try to recover directly under the slants, they die. That is seen as the primary reason for its ban. Now, when I say some characters, I'm referring to Zelda, Mewtwo, and Palutena. 3 characters. 3 out of 89. Oh, but what about Lucario? No. As soon as this up B starts going up, you can just... and you're fine. Using your brain is underrated. So yeah, it's just these 3 characters' teleport recoveries. This is why the stage was deemed as unfit for tournaments. I don't agree with this. Why? Well, the first reason should be obvious. It's just 3 out of 89 characters. And I feel like I'm being generous by saying 3, because Zelda and Mewtwo are some of the least used characters in the entire game. At least outside of Elite Smash. Not to say these characters don't matter at all, but there's a reason people say Palutena was the one that banned the stage. She was seen as one of the better characters in the game throughout all of 2019, and possibly the best character by the end of the year. That, combined with how easy she was compared to the other #1 contenders at the time, made her extremely popular. So you saw a lot of people complaining about this, but you basically only saw this problem with one character, and it didn't matter how rare Mewtwo and Zelda were. Their mere existence at all made the Palutena seem much more valid. I wonder if Kirby could ban a bunch of stages if just 2 more characters had his forward throw issue. As for the second reason I think the ban is stupid, you can just recover in other ways? There are more ways to recover than just drifting all the way towards the wall and then pressing up B. Your options are more limited, sure. And yes, there will occasionally be positions you get put in where you don't have the freedom to recover differently. But I think limiting your recovery options fits well for a counter pick stage, which is a thing Ultimate has been missing for a while now. Counter picks are supposed to be more polarizing stages that give certain characters more advantages and disadvantages. But in modern Ultimate, they just feel like starter stages that just so happen to be inaccessible game 1, and could really be swapped around with the starters without anything changing. And if you disagree with that statement, you shouldn't, because that's literally been the case throughout this game's entire life. It feels like everyone's having a bunch of fun on the stage, and then it gets ruined for everyone because one character's player base doesn't know how to mix up their recovery. Maybe I'm overestimating how popular this stage was to non-Palo fans, I don't know. To me, it seemed pretty popular. Alright, I know not everyone will be convinced, but I hope I at least made a good case for why the stage shouldn't have been banned. I'm gonna do the opposite now. Here's why Unova Pokémon League does deserve to be banned. Generational switch up, I know. The first and biggest problem in my opinion is the stage's lighting. In case you couldn't tell, the stage is dark, and a lot of people struggle seeing darker characters or especially stuff like Snake C4 on the stage. Now, full disclosure, This is not a me problem. My eyesight is pretty good, so I've rarely found trouble with this kind of stuff. And I'm sure plenty of people watching share that sentiment. But the argument of, it's not a problem for me, therefore it's not a problem, is never one I've liked. plenty of people have not great vision, and if enough of those people find problems with simply seeing the match, then that's a big enough issue to get rid of the stage. Heck, Cody Schwab, one of the best Melee players in the world, is colorblind. And I've heard this stage is awful if you're colorblind. If Cody played Ultimate and Unova was legal, he'd basically have to auto-ban it purely off the fact that he can't see anything. I know I said counterpick should offer characters more advantages and disadvantages, but that shouldn't translate over to the humans playing the characters. But none of what I've talked about has to do with the stage's layout. Let's say, theoretically, the stage looked like this by default. No more issues regarding vision. It's officially perfect for tournaments now, right? Well, there's one more issue I need to address, one that was the final nail in Unova's coffin. Small battlefield. This stage got added in a patch in the middle of 2020, and it fits a similar niche as Unova being a medium-sized dual plat stage. This name is a lie. Sure, small battlefield isn't as distinct from PS2 as Unova was, with its platforms being in the center and there being no walls on the side, but it being selectable on online quick play combined with it not having any of the issues Unova has makes it an easy addition to the stage list. Heck, it's probably the most fair stage in the game now. Despite the lighting and Palutena issues, I still saw a lot of people advocating for Unova to be re-legalized, and I was one of those people. But now that Small Battlefield is here, there's no niche left for Unova to fill anymore, so it's clear that the best thing to do is keep it banned. And that's how the story of Unova Pokémon League ends. A shame, really. Even though I stand by the teleport recovery thing being a stupid reason to ban it, I do accept that the stage list is better off without it. Which is unfortunate because it's always been one of my favorite stages. Even at the beginning of Ultimate when I was a Mewtwo main, I still enjoyed the stage. So do you guys miss Unova, or are you happy to see it gone? Let me know in the comments and hit like and subscribe if you want to see more Smash content. Until next time, bye-bye!